Let's do this. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Raman, also one of my closest friends. Very great individual in my life. I love you so much.
It's great to be back.
Yes.
I was the OG.
You were the OG. We actually done the first ever podcast.
To toot my own horn or anything, but...
Yeah, no, you were. This was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, it was when I had just moved into my flat, and I mean, like we were saying earlier, I didn't even have any furniture, not a bed frame. KOKO was sitting on the mattress on the floor. Cold as hell in there. I mean, the flat's still cold. It's in, ground floor, so...
But there's a warm feeling inside of it.
It's a warm feeling now, exactly. It's got vibes now.
Yeah, definitely.
Decorated it a little bit, Yeah, but it's good to be back now in your actual space.
In my actual
KOKO
space,
Pods.
yes.
Very excited for the progression of KOKO Pods.
Thank you. You've been one of the actual listeners as well.
I've been so consistent with it.
Yeah.
Like, I turned on the notifications.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yes.
Of course I did, of course.
I respect that.
So
Thank
I
you
see
very
that
much.
sometimes I'll come out of work and it's like Spotify notification, KOKO Pods episode 5. And I'm like, yes.
Yes, I love
take
that.
A few intermissions.
Yeah, no, of course. They're a bit long. They're a bit long.
Yeah,
But
I love to have something to listen. Like, I've been looking for a new podcast as well. Something that's just light, chat, casual, not too deep where I have to actually like really focus, and I find myself rewinding. Really complicated ones like Lex,
of course,
me to.
Yeah.
Always rewinding. I'm just like, well, what do you say? Like, that sounds...
Lex is mad. I love him.
Yeah. But yeah,
so what? How long have you been living at the place?
It's going to be 3 years in March, which is kind of crazy. Well, since I got it, but I wasn't actually living there until, I think, autumn that year.
Yeah.
So, but really, it doesn't feel like I've had... Because I live by myself, it doesn't really feel like I've lived there by myself for a while, obviously, because I've had some guests with my mum staying with me for like the last 7 months, I think, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So, but it feels good. It feels good to be in my own space. Solitude is something I'm trying to navigate with.
Yeah.
Has to be something that's healthy, I think. Solitude sometimes can take it too far. But we'll see. When Mama Curd leaves, then...
Mama Curd.
We'll see. That's my new nickname for her, Mama Curd.
Is it?
She's always bringing KOKO food, by the way.
Yeah, she
just
actually...
have to put it in
I
there.
love it. I love when she brings food. Well, actually, you bring it.
Well, like, we have this inside joke now that you're like her extra son, that she's
Is it?
always feeding.
Yeah, I love...
Always. But you're the only friend that my mum has actually met.
Yeah, that's like crazy, isn't
So
it?
I think that's probably why she
feels the connection.
She feels the connection, and
She knows someone from your life.
Yeah, and she's always like, because she's seen you now, she knows you're a big guy, and she's like, he needs to be fed.
He needs to be fed.
We need to give him sustenance. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So she...
No, me, I don't mind. I love when you bring yogurt.
Eat it in about 5 seconds.
Well, I love it. It's a compliment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's tasty stuff, I hope.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I mean, how did that pickled stuff go down?
Yeah. Oh, I actually made some, as well. I'll give you some. I'll give you some in the jar.
I saw that on New Year's. I saw that, just like a big jar.
Yeah. I made a few. I gave it out to my family, and then I have just like a big jar here. It turned out okay. It's just not as pickly as I'd like it to be. I didn't salt it enough. I didn't add enough spices.
Well, we'll give it to Mama Curd and see what her review is.
It's nice as a little salad that you can actually have a bit more of. You know what I mean?
And you can add... The great thing about pickled things is you can add it to so many things.
Yeah.
Salads, sandwiches, have it on the side of the meal.
Burger, bruv. Trust me. Like sauerkraut on a burger is sick. They did that in New York, innit?
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, so what I've done... obviously cabbage. So I done red cabbage.
Nice.
I done carrots. I done beetroot, and I done parsnip.
Nice.
And then just mixed it all together. Added a bit of water just so it's like over the top.
Yeah.
Bit of salt.
Vinegar in that? No?
Yeah, actually no vinegar. So it was like pure fermentation. So you can just like the vegetables have the natural bacteria in them for them to allow the fermentation just happen.
So many fermented things in our culture, isn't it?
It's mad,
like
yeah.
The correlation between Eastern European and Middle East.
Yeah.
Everything is pickled or just carbs.
Yeah.
Carbs and pickled.
Well, I grew up like like we used to, for obviously preparing for like winter and that in the village.
Yeah.
I didn't live in the village, but I spent a lot of time there, and like we would get this this barrel, that was honestly like about this from this
from the floor, right?
From the floor, and it, like that, and
Pinch one.
and it was sauerkraut.
Wow.
So it was like not like the sauerkraut you used to get in shops, but basically just obviously so much you're not going to cut all of it. So there's literally like whole leaves of cabbage and in this massive pot. I remember.
How do you eat that? Like a whole.
Bruv, do you know how I ate it? Because it was funny. It's because it was in the bathroom. That's where where it sat. Whatever village life in it.
Yeah.
So I remember like going toilet and that. And then obviously brushing my hands, but I was probably 8 and that's probably sometimes didn't brush my hands. But
but you probably
brush my hands.
You probably looked about 15 when you were 8.
Anyway, and then you just go in and just grab a leaf. I love it, bro. Honestly, just grab a whole.
So nothing with it, just the leaf on its own.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's the flavor like? Just like tanginess.
Yeah. Cabbage.
Nice.
People in Bulgaria drink cabbage juice. Like
Wow.
like from pickled cabbage.
That's probably why people live so long there. It's because they're getting.
They actually don't, though.
They actually don't.
Well, the thing is, they used to, but with new diets now and new lifestyles, like
nowadays it's different. It's the same with Kurdistan as well. Like.
It's just like the Western, bit more of a Western diet, and just more processed foods and a lot more imports and a lot more just like stuff that's not
Healthy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people in villages and that people that grow their own foods, big difference.
Yeah.
Like people they just keep going, you know what I mean? And they don't keep going because they take better medicine. Which actually we can talk about medicine in. I don't know how it is in at Kurdistan, but in Bulgaria, bruv, medicine confuses me there.
Why?
Because it's so privatized,
Right.
This is such a tangent. I don't know. I just whatever.
Let's do it. Let's talk about
So it's tangent, You go in Bulgaria and everything's so privatized in terms of like the medical field and everything else. Like after like communism fell, everything just like became like free for all in it,
Right.
industries and stuff. There is a pharmacy on every road.
Really?
But like ridiculous.
Well, that's a bit intense. Why is
Like
so many?
ridiculous. I don't know what it is, but people take so much medicine in Bulgaria. I don't know what it is.
Is that nowadays? Or
Yeah, nowadays. And
that probably, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that could connect with, if people are eating more unhealthy stuff, there's a lot more illness, maybe like the rise of that. Because it's the same in Kurdistan, like there's a lot more, the imported things are not the best for people.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I don't know.
I think there's definitely a part of that. I think there's definitely just a side of like, hey, like, how much money can we make from selling the absolute most amount of medicine to these people?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Well, people are buying it. They're buying into it.
Yeah, big time. But the thing is, like, have you been to the US?
I've never been to the US.
Yeah, US again. That's a weird one. You go on TV and there's so many like commercial adverts for like
commercial. That's an American term.
Commercials. Oh, in America.
I'm gonna cut to commercial.
Yeah. I don't really know what I'm getting with this, but it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Yeah. Especially obviously when you're in England, then like it's sort of free and sort of you don't really think about it. You don't really have. It's not really a consumer thing, like because it's just there for you.
Yeah.
So it's not really thought like a consumerism type of thing. Obviously, like you do have like over-the-counter drugs and stuff that you have to pay for.
Yeah, the occasional £12 for
but
a pill.
it's that's not.
I guess we don't really. I mean, maybe I'm like this. Sometimes I forget. I forget that we are actually pretty lucky to have this free healthcare system here. It might not be the best, like system's slow, but compared to America, for example, I mean, pay for even a checkup. Ridiculous prices too. I've heard some like crazy numbers. Just
thousands and thousands.
I would not want to get sick there, basically. So.
But it's almost a bit like counterintuitive, not even counterintuitive, but like medicine's so expensive here, but US is one of the most unhealthy countries all the time. So like pharmaceutical companies are banking it.
Yeah,
like
trust.
Pfizer right now, Pfizer is banking it. Do you know how many? I remember reading an article, when the Omicron virus variant became popular in the news,
Yeah.
the shareholders of Pfizer collectively made it was like 10 billion in the space of a day, because a new variant means that they will sell more vaccines, so the stock price goes up, etc., etc. So
higher demand.
so all I'm trying to say is pharmaceuticals are banking
That's the
it
saddest
right now.
part about the whole thing, virus or no virus, is just these pharmaceutical companies profiting off other people's misfortune. But it's weird because I can't imagine a world where that wouldn't be the case. I feel like we're so used to it now. Everything's about profit and everything's about money, and what can I gain from it? I mean, with all the suffering with COVID and Omicron, and then to hear that these big companies are making bank, it's just, it doesn't sit right with me. It makes me feel uneasy.
I know what you mean. I think I'm probably one of the few people that within our sort of bubble, or not bubble, I guess, part of the world, would say that I actually like capitalism.
You like?
Yeah, I actually like capitalism.
Coming from a
ex-communist country. Yeah, capitalism is actually
because it functions in society.
Well, yeah. It's very. We talked about with EB and about. It's very easy to focus on the bad things in life.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's much harder to focus on the good things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And there's, capitalism has brought on so many good things in the world.
Yeah.
Like the divide between the poor and the rich is obviously massive, but it's way smaller than what it used to be. You know what I mean? Before, you used to have literally the royals, the
higher upper class,
higher upper class, the one that owned estates and stuff,
and then the peasants,
and then
right,
the peasants, and then that was the divide.
It's true.
Yeah. But now, if you live in a first world country, the free amenities. Water in that.
And water,
water, sewage in that. You know what I mean?
Gas.
Obviously, it's not free, it's tax.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
there's access.
It works.
Yeah.
It works anyway to an extent, not fully, but and with things to go back to the whole medical field and Pfizer and big companies making lots of money in there's a saying goes something like, when there's blood on the streets, there's money to be made,
right,
or something like that, innit? And yeah, it's sad because it's true, because there's literally blood on the streets, and the rich are getting richer, and cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you have the good thing about capitalism, because it's not controlled by one government body. Obviously, the government is in place, but they don't have as much power as they do in authoritarian dictatorships and
just
stuff.
More of a democracy thing going.
Yeah, so it's when you have different companies competing to make the best vaccine, you're gonna get a much better outcome than if the opposite was happening, where you just had one company just developing it,
all your faith
and they were okay, cool, we don't have to compete with anyone because we just know that they're gonna buy our shit.
Right.
The government will just buy it. When it's when you have to compete, you actually make a better product.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So it's you have the Moderna, the Pfizer, the AstraZeneca. So they're all actually competing because even though the competition does earn them money, and in one sense it's okay, they're doing some good but some bad. But I think the good outweighs the bad.
Right. In this situation, I think.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
It's also, when you speak about the whole capitalism thing, something that's just not in our control anyway to change that. And.
What do you mean?
Well, for me to sit here and be okay, this capitalist society, it's terrible, this and that, but I've been trying to embrace this whole accepting things that we can't change. Things that are out of our control.
Yeah.
There's so much suffering in the world, so many things going on. However, what can I do as a little man? Sit and be upset about things going on. If it's out of my control, why should I worry about You know,
Yeah, but then
something large like capitalism, you know, it's such a deep rooted thing.
It is, but obviously then
We can all
it's not even to play devil advocate, yeah, but it's like obviously then you have people that are so into like
what changing
activism. Let's just say activism as a general term. They're so into activism that it's like you're made to feel guilty if you're not on whatever.
I've definitely been on that side where I feel guilty a lot about not doing enough, but I think you get to a point where you're like,
I can't help.
I can't like
can't save everyone.
You can't save everyone. You know, I've found myself getting down deep in the rabbit hole of Kurdish activism, for example, or the Kurdish cause, and feeling so terrible about it because there's so many injustices, not just with Kurds, with just everyone, you know. But
that's what feels closest to you, obviously.
That's what I connect with the most. And sometimes you think, you know, which injustice should I be upset about the most? And then you find yourself getting overwhelmed. But if you take a minute and you look back and you think, I can't change this one thing on my own. And if you have bigger things to deal with individually, like with me, I mean, you know, just general life things that are not the bigger cause, you know, sometimes you have to put yourself first. I think there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I'm trying to embrace being a bit more selfish these days.
I think there's two ways to look at that in it about being selfish. I think it's quite easy when something is identified as selfish. You know, it's, you know, that's the correct term, as in like you're putting yourself before other things. Yeah. But also without harming. You know? Yeah, of course. But I think at the same time, being selfish can actually have the complete opposite effect, where say in some instances in it, sometimes you have to like step back and be selfish and look after yourself, because then in the end you'll become the better person, and then you'll be more open to be supportive of other people. You know what I mean?
I mean, how can you help other people if you can't even look after number one? You know, which is an obvious statement, but
it's an obvious statement, but
it's not done enough. I think a lot of people do worry about this whole that selfishness has got a bad connotation, and that, you know, to be selfish is bad. And sometimes it's hard to be selfish, you know?
Yes.
Sometimes it's very hard to be selfish.
Agreed.
And put your needs first. And not to say, you know, you won't maybe have to sacrifice some things sometimes. But I think what you said is actually, you know, hit the nail on the head, really. Like, how can you, if you do selfish things that make you better, that you're supporting yourself, then eventually you'll become the best version of yourself. Or you're working towards that.
At least you're working towards it. Yeah.
And then and that way you can have more, like you're more open to helping others, you know, and you don't feel guilty about it. Because I find that when you're helping other people, or you're fighting the for the greater good or whatever, and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're sacrificing here and there's always something missing, because you've left that out for yourself. You know what I mean? And if you do both together, like, I find that you reap the greatest benefits, I feel.
Agreed.
But it's an ongoing journey, you know. I mean, in this world of people demanding things from you sometimes, you know, family or certain friends or romantically, and it's, you know, it's hard. Ebbs and flows, man. Ebbs and flows.
What flows?
Ebbs and flows. As in ups and downs.
Thank you.
Balance is key.
Balance.
EBB. Ebbs.
Ebbs.
Yeah, man. It's all about the ebbs and flows.
I feel like, you know, you've had a bit of a rough time over the last year or so, but like, I feel you've reached a level of like, I
think acceptance is the word.
Acceptance, vulnerability, and like almost wisdom. Yeah.
Oh, do you think so?
Wisdom, yeah. I think it, like.
That's really nice to hear, actually.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
Yeah, no, I think you have. Like, even though I've always thought of you as quite level-headed.
It's funny you say that, because on the surface, I get that a lot, that I'm like, you know, calm. Right? And sometimes there's a lot going on in the mind, but I think, you know, the acceptance part of it is so crucial for me anyway. I mean, like I was saying just a minute ago, not worrying about the things that you can't control and you can't change. And that's something that takes a lot of practice. Like, still, like, it's hard. I'm still a human being.
Yeah, of course.
An emotional one too, you know. But I think what also is important is gratitude, like, for the very minor things that we don't even think about, you know. I was having this conversation actually with Katie, I think last year at some point, that just to wake up in the morning and to be able to open your eyes and see and speak and breathe, like, many people don't have that, which I think we forget. And not to say that whatever you go through, whatever trauma or inconvenience is not important, but to be like, I have these main fundamental things that are actually very important and that we should be grateful for. I think as well, seeing the funny side of things is really important, especially in the hardest of times, you know, silver lining and all of that. But that's still, again, that's an ongoing journey. And I think as you get older, maybe, I mean, I'm not saying I'm old and that, I mean, you called me wise, so maybe inside I feel about 80, but that's because of my day job.
Yeah.
You know, but I think as well that, yeah, I mean, when you deal with a certain thing for so long, you have to kind of accept it. You just have to, because there's been times where I would sit and be sad, and self-pity is something that you can really get lost in. You know, I think you actually talking about this on your other podcast, on another episode, something about feeling bad. I think it was with Anna, that feeling bad can feel good. Like, you can become almost
yeah, I know.
Something along those lines, and that kind of resonated with me a little bit.
I think a better way of saying that is yeah, like,
you can get lost in it.
Yeah, but I think feeling bad can sometimes just, it's the easier thing to do than fixing the problems. Yeah. I think that's what it is, actually.
Yeah, or working towards.
Yeah, working towards fixing. Yeah. And
because
I know I've found myself many times in that position. You know, when you're just like, I just rather feel shit for a bit longer than just fix my problems.
And sometimes it can go
it's just
on way
easier.
too long, though. You know, I feel like I mean, it's funny you say you think I'm quite level-headed, because I always thought you were as well. You know, but you can really get attached to that feeling of being sad if you allow yourself to, which I did for a long time. And eventually you have to just kind of be like, I'm done, like, because you're wasting your time and your life. There's no energy. Like, I didn't have energy for so long, mental energy, you know. And I do find myself thinking about how I was years ago, and you know, I've spoken with some close people who have said that, you know, I've changed in terms of I'm a lot more reserved, a lot more quiet, not as open. But I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I think now I know what I'm giving my energy to.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's so important.
You know?
Like, I think a lot of people do not, just through my own experience in life and like seeing how people go about doing things, I think it's, well, first of all, it's really hard to do, but second of all, it's just not talked about enough, is how important it is just to set boundaries. In like, yeah, you have to set boundaries in certain situations, and a lot of, actually, but also it's just, yeah,
boundaries are hard as well.
It's really hard,
and it also depending on who you're trying to set the boundary with. There's
so many variables.
Yeah, you know, they will receive it differently. You know, because I feel like with my friends, like you guys, like so easy to set boundaries because we're all on a similar mental level that we can understand it and we won't take it personally, you know. With other people, you know, maybe family or, you know, people from my culture anyway, there are no boundaries. I don't know if it's the same with your culture and that kind of community, but there are not a lot of boundaries there. So sometimes implementing boundaries there is a bit difficult, but as long as you know you're working on it. And you know what? Sometimes like a boundary doesn't have to be you even vocalizing it. Like I found myself being just sit back and just nod and just be like not giving the energy of, you know, I don't know if that makes sense, but
I think it does.
I think that's like a boundary that I found is like a more of an internal one, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I also do think like you said, people like you from your culture or like my culture, like, you know, I think that probably holds true in a lot of people, in a lot of places that just going through tough times.
Yeah.
Because I think like actually even speaking about it, like setting boundaries, it's actually a privilege because like back in the day, I think when it's like when people go through tough times, you have to
do it collectively
to
everyone together.
But like man, it was crazy. I just the amount of people look after each other in it when it's during like tough times can be like really impressive. And obviously like there's other bad things that happen when there's suffering, of course, but people come together.
Yeah, definitely.
And I remember like when I was a kid and that, like my grandparents from my mum's side lived in the village and my grandparents from my dad's side lived in the city. And I remember like when I used to visit my city grandparents, like their block was proper old school in it, like just like old communists and stuff, and like just like older folk.
Yeah.
Man, like everyone knew each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like it's a lot of people, and like everyone lives in like there's so many blocks and whatever. It's quite a good structure. Structuring with like lots of parks and stuff. It's really nice.
I'd love to go Bulgaria.
Yeah, we should. But man, the community spirit is like never, like I haven't seen anything like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people just back then, it was just really hard to set boundaries.
Yeah.
Like my dad and my mom, like they've always been so charitable to other people in it. And like sometimes like way too charitable when people just started taking a piss,
taking advantage,
and that's what happens when you don't set boundaries. And
or just people being really invasive of maybe what's going on in your family as well, because I mean, because everyone does things together and everyone knows each other and talks to each other, and also maybe because of the simple life, there's not much to occupy yourself with there. That well, I speak for Kurds, the Kurdish community. I love my Kurds, by the way, just disclosure. But there is this culture of gossip and just being invasive and wanting to know, okay, we all do the good together, but also they want to know the bad as well. They want to know the bad and all the details, and then, you know, that's the negative side of it.
That's the negative side, but isn't that so funny because it's
frustrating, but that's why I don't.
No, it's frustrating, but it's really interesting because, like, if you look at it from, if you just step back a bit, you have people just bickering and like, obviously the good stuff, you know, everyone does together. No one really shies away from it.
Yeah.
But the bad stuff everyone shies away from, so it has to happen behind everyone's back. But everyone still knows.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, and we're so like, we want to know the bad stuff in it. It's really tempting.
You have to know everything. Again, lack of boundaries.
But then at the same time, if you look at media and that, if you look at the media and then how we're just like the most popular stories are the bad ones. The most true. Like shocking ones and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how it happens stuff. How it happens on like a local level.
Yeah, exactly.
Within a community, and then how it happens just on like a earth level.
I guess that can be said as well, like for this whole celebrity culture too, is just, I mean, if you go on Daily Mail, which I hope no one does, but just for a bit of a comical, just to like, just to laugh for one moment in the day, a quick 20 minutes, and just the amount of stories about meaningless shit about people's lives, like there's no boundaries there.
Nah, no boundaries.
Paparazzi. Boundaries.
Gosh, I would hate to be a paparazzi.
That's why I would hate to be a celebrity, Maybe for all the nice stuff.
Like, do you know what I mean? I would like to be recognized. That, like, as in, like, it has happened. When just like one person seen like a music video made, they're like, "Oh, a sick music video."
Yeah, I'm always showing people your music videos.
Yeah, or something. You know what I mean? And vice versa. I show people your paintings, but it's like, wow, it's a really nice thing. Like being appreciated, to be recognized, to be appreciated, and it's just
from being. But then people all.
I wonder at what level it becomes like
too much.
Like when you're a mega celebrity and like you actually just.
For some people, it's overnight, isn't it? Especially these days, like TikTok stars becoming famous in the matter of a week.
But it's so funny, because like there's so many famous people now. It's almost like it's losing its
what, like its meaning? Like,
its meaning. It's like
because it's oversaturated.
Back in the day, being famous meant something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It meant like
you were a star.
You were like AC/DC or like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. That's what that meant. Now, famous just means.
They probably post something online.
Some 17-year-old girl on TikTok doing things she shouldn't be doing and showing to the public and that.
Yeah. Which is why I kind of, I know you said you're taking a year off social media, which I think is really admirable, by the way. But I've been also on this journey of decreasing my screen time, which is why I have not downloaded TikTok. I never have, never will, because I can just, I know myself that I would just be scrolling for hours, and then there you go, your day's wasted, or at least the next 3 hours. You know what you could do with the 3 hours?
3 hours is a long time.
Utilize your time way better. I mean, it is hard because it's this culture of being sucked into stuff and wanting a distraction. But you can distract yourself in other ways, in more healthy ways. But
you can.
Social media. I mean, Instagram is. I'm slowly trying to wean myself off, but I do find it hard sometimes. Like, I realized with my main account, my art account, I will post a picture of a painting, and then maybe I won't again for like another month, which feels good. But on my personal account, it's just about keeping up with what everyone's doing, but not consciously. You just find yourself, just watching stories, and then for the next hour, and then you're just kind of like, why am I?
That's the bad thing about it.
I don't, not to sound rude, but I don't even really care.
No, you don't. Of course you don't.
Like,
it's just,
I just don't really care about it, but I don't know why I find myself pushing the button just to, waste time. I could waste my time so much better.
Yeah.
And then that wouldn't be wasted time. I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's okay to have a bit of wasted time a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, there's.
Well, how are you wasting your time now? What's your plan to do instead of that time that you would use for social media? Like, how you thought about it?
Well, for me, it's a few things. Obviously, time is one, but more than anything, it's like I've sort of. Switched my view on it, where it's not really the time. Obviously, that is a big problem, but the bigger problem is just like my attention.
Yeah.
Because
attention span. Because
obviously with time, you think, okay, I look at my phone for 2 hours. That means 2 hours out of this day, I'm completely out of it and whatever, and that's it. But if you look at it from an attention level, you can say, okay, for 2 hours, I was completely like. My attention was all over the place. I was just looking at things, and then those 2 hours are gone. You put your phone down, but your attention's still skewed. You know what I mean? I find it so hard. If, for example, if I wake up in the morning and I look at my phone for like an hour or two, I find it so hard to do work that day.
Yeah.
I'm all types of distracted. I've already been so overwhelmed with just like weird data, like videos and pictures and stuff,
Yeah,
and
it's just,
text
like,
and stuff,
throws
and
it all over
ideas,
the
and
place.
so it's all just bubbling in my head.
Yeah.
So it's actually way more than 2 hours out of your day,
Right.
because it actually just disrupts your whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I look at it from attention level, it's a bit more. I don't know.
Well, then it's hard then after. I mean, if we're speaking about the morning, for example, I think most people, the first thing that they would do, I'm guilty of this sometimes too, is just checking your phone straight away. But they say that's actually the most unhealthy thing you can do, because then how can you then lock in and focus in on what you're trying to do productively? It's just, I don't know, you feel like your brain's somewhere else. Your brain's already been saturated with whatever you've seen that morning.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's bubbling.
Stuff.
It's just bubbling. Like,
and it's not even stuff that really means something. Like I mean, obviously it depends on who you follow and what type of content that you are like, you know, like following. But it's the same. Like my eyes hurt. That's probably the main cause for my bad eyesight.
Well, there's some debate about it. I don't think I actually changed. I know it doesn't matter.
I just hate my bad eyesight. I'm just
Fair.
trying to find any excuse.
Any
as
excuse
to why
to,
I'm 25 and that I have bifocal glasses, lenses, or whatever.
So one eye is different from the other.
One eye is different from the
that's
other.
like Katie.
I'm not allowed to drive without my glasses.
That's mad.
Got my driving exam soon, by the way.
Come on, when?
Wish me luck. 26th of January.
Wow, that's soon.
That is soon. It's not.
You ready? Yeah.
I think I'm ready. There have been some frustrating lessons, but the most recent one was really good. You know it's going good when your instructor doesn't say anything the whole lesson. They're just giving you directions.
Oh, Axel's calling me. Should we answer?
Axel, yes.
Let's answer. Hi, Axel.
Mr. Drury.
How's it going, man?
Yes, bruv. We're doing a podcast with Raman right now.
Mr. Drury.
Hey!
Hey, girl.
What you saying?
How's it going? I was really boring, bruv. I'm doing my tax, and I remember Biggs, when I quit my job, Biggs guy sent my P45 to your house, and I was just wondering if there was by any chance it was still there.
I have no idea. I can have a look through the mail later today. Oh,
It would have been from ages ago. I remember you sending me a picture, but I can't find the picture, so maybe you were FaceTiming me or something.
okay, yeah. I honestly don't remember, but
All right, so don't worry about it. Enjoy your podcast.
thank you very much. Thank
You're
you very
here in
much.
spirit,
I
Axel.
want to see you soon.
Yeah, safe. I'll catch you later, man.
Bye-bye.
Yes, Axel.
I love that Axel's made a little feature.
And
to
it
this
Axel made a
episode.
little feature.
You got to put that in the title then,
Yeah.
featuring Axel.
Featuring Axel, yeah.
Love that.
Oh, mate.
His hair's looking luscious these days.
Yeah, innit?
I hope he hears this. So
Nah, he will. He has
complimenting the
to.
hair. You know, it's looking
I
long
like
and luscious.
Axel.
I want to know his hair care routine, for God's sake.
Gosh, Axel, what a guy.
What a guy. P45, admin things. Sounds mundane.
I love him, you know. He's very
He's very real as well.
he's very generous.
Yeah, he's very
in
generous.
interesting ways, like with his,
Not just with his cooking.
not just with his cooking, although that is banging.
Yeah. Shout out to Axel's recipes.
Shout out Axel. What were we even talking about before he called?
Social media attention.
No, we moved on from that. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway, this social media.
A little shake up and
Little
that
shake
that,
up,
that
yeah,
phone call was
yeah.
unexpected.
Love it. Love a spontaneous phone call.
Little water in it.
Oh yeah, the podcast water, which I've been hearing.
Podcast
I've already
water.
got mine. This I was just saying, like,
Let's
this
hear
is
the
the,
sound.
the posh stuff that we sell at work.
Wait.
Oh yeah, I've already opened mine, so I can't. Cheers. It does feel weird to drink water out of a can, though. What made you want to?
They were just in the house, and they were free. They weren't actually mine. They're one of my housemates who just took them.
Get a lot of free stuff in this house.
Just
love it.
there's just shit appears in this house, and
It's because it's a big
whatever
house.
happens to it. You know what I mean?
Finders keepers, basically. Hair in my eyeball.
So actually, I didn't even get to ask you yet, but at the beginning we were talking about your house and how you moved in like 3 years ago. How much do you reckon that's changed you as a person to just have your own place?
Well,
Obviously, you
lot.
haven't bought it. Yeah, I'm just.
A lot. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just living by yourself anyway, I think is something that, I mean, I always like the idea of living with friends, sure, you know, I've experienced that in uni, but I've enjoyed it way more than I thought living by myself. Like, to have to come home from work and just, this is probably going to sound really, I don't know how it's going to sound, but just to come home and not to be able to talk to anyone for at least a couple hours before I have to do the phone call with Mumsy, you know, but just to decompress, which I think you can do if you live with people, but for me, I'm definitely a solitary creature. And I don't know if that connects with what I do, like painting, because painting is a very solitary craft. You know, I need peace, silence, and no distractions at all. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It has its ups and downs, obviously, you know, because I know I'm someone that I don't like to bother people when I'm going through something, for example. So in the bad times, it can get you can get, like I said, lost in the sadness a bit too much. But I think if you're actively trying to balance that with seeing people and connecting with your friends, then the solitude aspect of it is absolutely fine. I think sometimes people think, okay, well, you're by yourself, it must be lonely. And it does, but not if you balance it right, you know? I think people think of solitude as loneliness, and they are two different things.
Definitely.
You know? I mean, in psychology, they say that the contrast is that loneliness, I think, solitude is being lonely. No, it's being alone without feeling lonely, you know?
Okay.
And loneliness, obviously, is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, we know what loneliness is.
So I think trying to access that has been something I'm trying to do. I mean, it's hard, obviously, when you've got people in your space, which I do at the moment. But with that comes many other things, you know? I mean, challenging yourself to a new environment, such as the painting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I need no distractions. I need silence. I need all of this, for not just for painting, for lots of things. I've really discovered a lot about myself, living by myself, and then having people come into the space and disrupt that. You know, I've learned that I'm not as patient as I thought. I'm getting there, but in the beginning stages, I found that I'm not as patient as I thought. I'm easily annoyed by small things, you know, like little noises. But that comes from living by yourself and getting used to how you do things, and people coming and moving things around, or, you know, just like a sneeze. I'm just like, you know, and that I hated that part of how I acted. So I think it builds a discipline in you. It makes you realize kind of how you want to grow for the better. You know, like with the painting, I found that actually I am capable of painting with distractions. I have to put headphones on, sure, and like blast some loud but calming music.
Well, yeah, what do you blast?
It varies. Like, I've been listening to a lot of the Smiths these days and the Doors, but sometimes then it will go to like Summer Walker and I'll start getting emotional in my paint. It depends what I'm painting, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe just a lot of YouTube live lo-fi, the lo-fi chill hop, whatever. I love that.
What did you paint when you? What did you listen to when you painted my thing?
Oh, I think probably just something fun, you know, because that's a gift. It's not a super emotional painting.
No, it's not. I love it though.
I love that it's like right there in the center of your mantelpiece.
It's hilarious. It looks like some sort of like a self shrine. You know what I mean? It's like I just like, you've got pray to myself.
Photos of yourself there.
Well, they're just
two paintings.
Two paintings.
One by Ella, innit?
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, yeah. I just and then it, you know, the whole going out of your usual routine of, let's say, with the painting, with the distraction, you realize, okay, you are capable, which then reaffirms that whole, if you're focused in and you're zoomed in, that you can do it. You can achieve the goal, whatever, how small or how big it is. You can do it if you just focus in and zoom in. At least with my painting, that was the case. So that also makes you feel good, you know, makes you feel good, like, for your productivity. You know what I mean?
It just, I don't know, it's just it's a reassurance, isn't it?
Exactly.
Whenever you do stuff that
you're not completely useless, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be kind, like, I think being kind to yourself is also something that is hard to do. But once you, because I mean, I attach a lot of my self-worth to what I'm doing, in terms of career or like even
normal,
creative practice
Yeah.
like is the main one. And I mean, there was a time where I was not painting at all. This time, not this time last year, but maybe a year and a half ago, picked up the paintbrush like twice a month, which is ridiculous now when I think about it, and I kick myself for it because now I do it at least 5 times a week, and it feels, and it's so obvious because it's like, okay, obviously if you're doing the thing that you love, you're gonna feel good. But yeah.
But like
so
we were
it
talking,
makes you feel good.
sometimes it's easier not to.
It's easier not exactly like to get lost in the sadness, and I think
And just in life.
you know, sometimes you don't know what you're doing or where you're going, and I think it's good to have those questions and those conversations with yourself, like to reflect. But it can go down a very toxic route when you overdo it to the point of not doing anything about it, or just like closing yourself off to other people, because we're humans. Like, we need that connection. We need to chat to someone, you know. We need to just be around people, not all the time. Like I said, again, it's about the balance, right? So when you're just doing the solitary thing, but not doing the healthy activities with solitude, like reading, meditation, painting, walking,
Whatever.
right? Just like those healthy habits. If you're not doing that, you're just kind of sitting there, maybe just like, you know, substances, or just like wallowing. Where you're gonna go? You know, you're not really. So that's what I've been really trying to do, is just do the thing. Just do it. Be grateful for what you do have rather than what you don't. Allow yourself to feel low, but then keep it moving, which is easier said than done. But I think there are ways to go around it when you're feeling low. Like, I've been journaling a lot. I've actually been walking a lot, which feels great. I'm not worked up to the running yet. Sorry, Coco, but we'll get there.
I'm not running at the moment either.
You used to run a lot.
I used to, I think I'd like to get back into it. Yeah, it's great. It made me feel
I would like
so
to have
good.
a running buddy, but Ali Pali's so...
It's far.
Yeah.
Get Alice.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Alice would be on that.
Man, she was telling me.
Oh, that she wants to start running.
Yeah,
that would be good, actually.
Yeah. Just exposing her right here, right now.
Let's do it. No excuses, Alice.
No excuses, Alice.
For me either.
Yeah.
No excuses, Raman. You know, but walking actually feels good as well. Like, I started walking home from work, which is not even that far. It's like an hour and 5 minutes, which is the whole journey of my commute anyway by the time the bus arrives.
Okay.
You know, and it's a bit of a chaotic journey because I go through Central. It's like Tottenham Court Road, Leicester Square and stuff. But it's so fresh air, man. It feels good.
Do you know what? When I used to cycle to my office.
It feels good.
Oh, my days.
Cycling, I bet you feel like a lot, you know, stronger.
Loved it as well. Just like, and I was cycling like a maniac as well. So my juices were flowing, adrenaline, like going through buses, and I obviously got the helmet on. Don't worry. And
of course.
I never crashed apart from once. Yeah.
Wow.
Fine. But you know,
Is that why you don't cycle anymore?
No, it's just cold. It's actually,
cold.
and also my bike was broken, but I got it fixed recently.
All right.
Yeah, I got it fixed. So.
Yeah, man, fresh air.
Oh, I just love it.
That breeze hitting your face, right, as you're like cycling like a madman. Must feel amazing.
And also, when it's hot, I was doing it during the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, some days just like without a top, just
that
have
breeze.
I'm just sweating, just helmet and glasses. Oh, I loved it.
I bet you are such a sight for sore eyes, like to some people, you know, big hairy guy sweating. Do you listen to music when you?
Sometimes, but I just like this.
That's a question I want to ask. Do you listen to anything or just?
It depends, innit? It depends.
Depends on the run.
Yeah, the way I treat it, I'll put music on if I can't run without music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just use it as a tool to motivate me to go. Because ideally,
Right.
you just go on a run, nothing, can it? You're running, and no external factors.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, so like, you know, but not every day you feel like running. So music is a good tool to be like, all right, I can make this a bit more enjoyable just
Yeah.
by listening to like.
Well, that's what I do with my walks. Well, actually, I've been listening to your podcasts.
Podcasts are great.
sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if you had many more, that would be what I would be doing every day.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll get there, innit?
Yeah, it's fine,
Hopefully.
mate. Yeah.
You know, but just walking home and I'll find myself laughing to myself because, you know, it's my friend KOKO and he made a funny joke and it's just, and I look like a bit crazy, like just a woman walking through Leicester Square laughing to herself.
I love
But
it though.
It's
That
not the
makes me- that
craziest
makes me
thing in
feel good.
London. London's full of...
That makes me feel good. Yeah. Don't know.
No, but it's good though. It's good, you know, like walking and just like getting your steps in.
It's good.
It's
It's good walking.
It is.
I agree.
I know it's funny to say that, but when you don't do those things, and then when you start doing the things that feel good, you're like, wow, like I am late to this walking game.
And it's also like, I think that goes for a lot in terms of like
Many things.
just lots of simple stuff. Like you forget how valuable stuff is. I
Exactly.
do this, and here's another thing. Yeah, like I think obviously lying and fooling other people, whatever, and just
Yeah.
people in general. Sometimes can be easy, sometimes can be tough to lie.
Right.
But the easiest person to lie to, yeah, is yourself. It's actually so easy to lie to yourself.
Definitely.
And then, like, you know what I mean? Because you always have two sides in your head. You have inner conversations. You know, perhaps that's why we've evolved in this intelligent environment, because we can sort of actually argue with ourselves.
Yeah.
And that can be really good, because it's good to be self-aware, self-reflecting, whatever.
Denial is a real thing.
And I forgot where I was going with this.
But I mean, like,
What were you saying exactly?
I was talking about the simple things, you know, the walking, and that it feels good when you don't do something that you know obviously will make you feel good to then do.
Oh yeah, sorry. We are just basically I was just talking about just lying to yourself, and it's so easy. I find it so easy to convince myself to not go to the gym.
Yeah.
Or to not, even though I know it feels good. Obviously the gym's a bit, you know, that can be actually a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But let's just say journaling.
Yeah.
Because I try to journal every day, innit?
Every day.
Every day
That's
at
pretty
night.
good.
But I do.
It seems like a lot of energy, effort, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't want to be.
But I don't do it every day, innit?
Right.
Because some days, if I haven't had a good day, I sort of like, man, I actually don't want to write about it.
Yeah.
But I know
It would help.
it would help, but I don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
And then when you do it, you're kind of like, I knew I should have done that
Yeah.
2 days ago or whatever.
but yeah,
It's good to not be also really harsh on yourself. I find give yourself a push. Don't completely like abandon it. For whatever it is. Like with the journaling, for example, I when I was going through whatever, not walking, not journaling, not painting, but it has to feel natural, right? The journaling, let's say. You can't really force yourself, but if there's one inkling in your mind, like, okay, I should actually would feel pretty good to write right now. Like I've had that thought, and then I just do it. Like I journaled actually before I came here.
Oh,
which
really?
felt good. Yeah.
That was nice.
And then I was flicking through the dates, and it was just like they're getting shorter and shorter, and so I think it's just about easing yourself into stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that.
Easing, you got to be all in or nothing.
That's a part of my personality that I do fight with.
Right.
I'm a highlight player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm in it for the highlights. I want to make it the highlight reel. But the thing is, it's like, I really have to be careful about going all in. I'm very conscious about it now. Because sometimes, be like, okay, cool. I want to go for a run, but I want to run 52 miles. You know what I mean? It's like,
So
I just need to like relax it sometimes.
Also try and access like where's all this pressure coming from, or where is all this because pressure, how you say that it's so easy to lie to ourselves, it's also so easy to put pressure on ourselves as well,
Again, I'm terrible at that as well.
Yeah.
Just putting pressure on myself, or
So I go with like many things like work and
not work. I put pressure on myself to be good.
Right.
Yeah, that's the easiest way I can describe it.
Yeah.
I put pressure on myself to do the right things.
Right.
And
like be morally correct. Like.
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
mean
No.
by
That's
good.
as in like doing the right things in terms of like in my own life that I know for a fact will make me better. So like meditating, journaling, whatever, eating good food. And I put pressure on myself to do those things a lot. And when I don't do them, I feel bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, honestly, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather do that. And I've talked about this to Ella, actually. I don't mind that I'm harsh on myself.
Right.
For those things.
I kind of wish I was a bit more harsh on myself. Not completely, to the other side, but... yeah, because the alternative, is what? Being completely lazy maybe and not pushing yourself and then feeling guilty about that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like you don't allow yourself to have, let's say, let's call them rest days, where you're not doing much.
Yeah. No, I
feel
allow
like
myself.
You're very good at balancing the things maybe sometimes.
Sometimes, innit?
Like I've definitely heard you in the past be like, okay, I did this one day, like a very intense, productive, whatever. I don't know what you were doing. So you're like, so I'm just going to chill today and do nothing. Like it's a Sunday, whatever. Or maybe a Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it
Monday
don't
or
matter.
Sunday when you're freelance. So it's
doesn't
whatever,
matter, mate.
But you know what I'm saying? I feel
I know
like,
what you're saying. I know what you're
it's not like
saying.
you completely restrict yourself from enjoying one day of doing absolutely nothing. Unless it lingers in the back of your mind, like...
Yeah, that's tough, though. When you're freelance, it's just tough.
Yeah.
When you don't have a...
Well, there's no schedule.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
make your own schedule.
Yeah, when a schedule is not given to you, life can become surprisingly hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can imagine. Like that's why, hence, I'm not freelance, because I know that I would really struggle with. Maybe it's a self-discipline thing, which I guess is really good to have, because if you want it, like especially with the creative practice and your craft, you have to really, really be disciplined.
Well, also like. I've mentioned this before, a guy called Jocko Willink, and I believe it stands true, especially in the freelance world, but just in general. He says that discipline is freedom.
Right.
And it's like, what he means by that is, if say your friends invite you for like a birthday party or something, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you sort of just like procrastinate and don't do stuff, and then you're like, shit, I actually have so much work to do. Oh, I can't go to the party now.
Yeah,
And
you spoke about this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you like, if you don't have the self-discipline to do the things that need to be done in life, then you're just not gonna have freedom.
Well, yeah,
because you're not gonna have freedom from your mind. You're not gonna have peace of mind that like, hey, like it's okay. I've done the right things today. That means I can go to the birthday party.
Yeah.
Well,
the only person that would lose out is yourself in that situation.
And it's yourself, but also it's like, your friends will miss you.
Of course,
you know
your
what I mean?
social life will take an impact.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, yeah, discipline is freedom. I think it's quite good saying.
Yeah.
Once you like,
I love that. Who said that?
Jocko Willink.
Jocko Willink.
He's got a podcast as well.
Oh, does he?
He's a fucking.
Hopefully, it's another
gorilla.
good one.
He is. So hench, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's this like.
Not as hench as Joe Rogan.
Nah, like way bigger. Well, Joe Rogan's actually well small,
He looks like a short guy.
I think he's like 5'4".
Wow, he's short.
Like really like short, like something like that. 5'4".
It makes up for it in width, maybe.
Mate, he is girthy. He's a girthy guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just like he's there, just like. But Jocko's like a ex-Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Like lieutenant, whatever. Just like higher ranks, like big time army guy. He's like a black belt jiu-jitsu.
And the discipline, it's all there.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, he is. I mean, but he's also like really impressive. Like just like he does a lot of impressive stuff, and he.
I'm gonna check him out because that sounds interesting. I could learn a thing or two about discipline.
Yeah, I think people might find him a bit challenging because he can be quite like he's
quite harsh.
He has like an army thing about him where it's like, which I get in it, and I absolutely love when because you sort of have that camaraderie in sport as well, in team sport, where it's like you dig at each other a lot, but you know it's a weird thing where it's like
Like teasing. You mean?
Yeah. Like you tease each other, you swear at each other, you're nasty to each other, but it's like it's almost like a weird battle that you have that you both that like sort of makes you a bit stronger,
Right?
you know what I mean? So he has that sort of humor where it can be quite intense, but like it comes from a good place, and he's quite an intense guy, but again comes from a good place. So I think some people might find him a bit intense.
I'm all for the challenging people these days.
He does. He works out at 4:30 every morning.
Wow. For how long? Please say 1 hour.
Wow.
It's probably like 4 hours.
Nah, enough though.
I mean, but there you go. Like that's the routine again. That's the.
But like actions speak louder than words, and with people like that, there's all types of gurus and stuff.
Yeah,
but
actions definitely speak. I was actually listening to this podcast the other day, and the guy was talking about existentialism and all that kind of stuff. And he's saying it's so easy to believe that you're the thing that you think, but what you do
is what you are.
I think it was a Lex episode. I think so.
That's really good, actually.
And
you're not what you think you are what you do.
Exactly. Like it's so easy to be like, okay, I'm a great painter, but I just haven't painted my great thing yet. But you're not.
Being called delusional, isn't it? That's what
and in fact that you're not a great writer, painter, whatever, if you're just thinking it, But then again. Yeah, self-discipline is it's a journey though, like with everything. If you have to work towards it, I don't know if I can. I mean, obviously you can't jump straight in,
No. I think everyone has, everyone has a form of discipline, 100%. Like you do, everyone does. I mean, it's just like.
If it's where you want it to be.
Yeah, it's where you want it to be, and if if it's affecting your life, etc., etc. But yeah.
Yeah.
How are you finding painting at the moment? Because you said 5 days a week. That's a lot.
I mean, it's feeling really great.
Yeah.
I've nearly completed my first international commission.
That's fun.
And I've been doing that for so long.
Yeah.
And it's nearly finished, and just like working on the final details and things like that. But in terms of my personal stuff, it's actually going much better than it was a few years ago, which is funny to say because...
What do you mean personal stuff? Just stuff you paint?
Like personal projects, no commission, no exhibition requirement. Like, I mean, in uni, I was just doing exhibition after exhibition and show after show and just like taking the first thing, like, because it's great opportunities, isn't it? Get your stuff out there. But now, I mean, for the last 2-3 years, I've taken a big break from even searching for that, to have my work displayed somewhere and just doing the stuff that I want to do and seeing what my style, and I hate the word style, but what my style can develop into, because I've always liked to explore many different mediums in my work, like not just acrylics, for example. I mean, in the last year, I've really been attached to oil painting and things like that, but I've always liked to scope the whole range of materials at my disposal and just like rediscovering the love for it, like I reimagine myself when I was in primary school, like not wanting to go to the reading time because Raman wants to stay at the crayon table, just like that kind of like, I just want to do it, and I'm doing it because it feels free, and there's no client to please, or there's no exhibition deadline to meet, and it feels good. I mean, I do want to get back into it eventually, but right now it's about building the portfolio and being happy with it. And I'm really liking where it's going. I feel like my stuff, like you probably feel the same with your work as well. Like when you look at something you did last week or 2 weeks ago, and then something you did years ago, and you see that physical progression, and it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels, because it's hard to it's hard to step back and look at progression sometimes. But when you have that physical, well, not physical, but something that you can see at least, digital or physical. It's,
well, I mean, I remember when you FaceTimed me the other day, and I was doing a huge clear out and readjustment of the studio. So at that point, I can look at those things. It's not like I look through it every week. Like, I don't remember the last time I did that. So to look at these like drawings that I would be like, wow, this is kind of shit. Well, not shit, but just, it's shit in my eyes. But at the time you think, wow, this is the best thing I've done. But now this is the best thing I've done. And to see that track, like, it makes you feel good, because I'm going somewhere with it. I don't know what that somewhere is, but it's like it's going, and it feels good to keep it consistent, because of the way it makes me feel, like painting. Like if I'm having a bad day, or even if it was a long tiring day or at work, I'll come back and I just feel like I want to paint, and I haven't had that in a long time, so it feels good to re-access that.
Love
but
that.
it's my last week at my hospitality job, so hopefully.
What's your plan?
Well, I've been offered a job at this antique collection reproduction company, and I'll be a patination and finishing technician for the metal department. So they make these really beautiful lanterns and lamps in the metal department, and I would be, making things look antique-y and textured, and working with chemicals, patinating them. Patination is basically the process of making things look rusty, right? That's what Google tells me.
I don't know why you're asking me. It's your job.
Well, that's what Google tells me. I've never patinated anything in my life, but I'm really excited because
sounds fun.
I'm doing something with my hands, right? Which I love to do anyway.
Yeah.
Because I love the painting. I don't know if it's something that would be my main source of income. Well, right now it definitely is not an option. And I also don't know if that's solely what I want to do. I think it's very okay to be multi-dimensional. I feel like most creatives are. Like for you did the bit of the photography, and you did the, the videos, and you're doing the podcast stuff. It's all like things can overlap. And I think if you keep the mental juices flowing, that's important, because barista making, like, there's only so many latte flowers I can make to keep the creative juices. So I'm
going
well
to
excited.
competitions and that, barista competitions.
Sometimes I feel bad because, like, we'll have new people start and they're like, my first cappuccino was awful. It was like water, which is opposite of what a cappuccino should be. So they'll come in, and then I'm there doing like flowers and shit for the customers, and I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to, make you look like shit. So then I'll just, I tried to make KOKO a nice coffee earlier, by the way, but it's not my fault.
No, it tasted good.
But you frothed the milk. I didn't even do. I wanted to do the flour, but I blamed the jug. After 4 years of barista making.
4 years of barista. You can't even make a little flower on my coffee, but you can do it at your hospitality job.
It's not a true reflection. But yeah, so that's the plan. I'm really excited to work with my hands and like have my own little workshop table. So yeah, hopefully it will be another door as well opened for me. No more hospitality. I'm saying that to I really hope so. You never know what can happen tomorrow, innit?
No. When did you start this new job?
24th of Jan.
24th of Jan, yeah, because I remember there was some complications with it, but now it's calm.
Well, that was another job.
Oh, that was the other job.
They pushed me to March, and I just lost all faith in that, and I was just applying.
Yeah.
That's also another thing, like, with the discipline. Like, I would come back from work, job hunting, you know, and I would apply for, like, many different things, artist assistant, painting assistant, finishing technician. Like, that job that didn't work, that was meant to be in March, was what was it? It was like a specialist Moroccan type of plastering, which actually I'm kind of glad I didn't get, because that would have made me exhausted, I think. And I think that one was actually probably a bit more mundane. Be patinating stuff now, man.
Sounds fun.
So I'm excited for that, and hopefully
just a bit of a change of lifestyle, You've been barista for way too long now.
And you know what's funny about customer service is how much it makes you hate.
People.
Not hate. Hate is not. I don't like to use that word.
No, yes.
But it really makes you hate people sometimes. Like, you're just like, okay, so you order a decaf. But then again, it goes back to, I can't change it. Let me just, like, whatever.
Yeah, but also it's quite like a natural an unnatural like exchange.
What, the customer service?
Yeah, like because how people speak to people in customer service is not how people speak to their friends, and to just
Unless you make friends with the customers.
yeah,
and
no,
more.
yeah, no, of course, yeah, but no, but obviously sometimes it's completely normal, but there's obviously in the age of like
You have to be
phones
polite.
and stuff, people just like
ultra.
you know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
it's I don't necessarily think it's rude, because like people are busy and people got shit to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course, but I'm still a
But then that's the thing. That's what I mean. It's a bit of an unnatural friction.
Yeah.
Bit of,
and then also with that comes sometimes I'll have the cynical thought like, you're just being nice. If it's an off chance they're being nice, you're just being nice because I'm providing a service. You do have the odd few people that are really genuine, and that even over Christmas they would be like, oh, thank you for everything that you do. Like you're doing a lot. So it definitely has its benefits. I mean, it's also made me more like less shy, because I find that I was. Maybe you don't agree with because you're my friend.
well, yeah, it's different, isn't it?
It's different,
Yeah.
but I'm or just
It's how you feel.
just conversing with people like strangers, so building a rapport with customers sometimes, and like knowing how to, a bit of banter, like
Bit of banter,
you
yeah, no, it's just
work it into your day, and then also makes you feel good because you're like, interaction is good, interacting with people.
I agree.
Unless they're being annoying with their decaf soya foamy extra. or
Extra
whatever,
hot with
90
vanilla
degree.
shot.
Please stop.
What's the most ridiculous order you've had?
Probably like, you know what's the most ridiculous one is the decaf. The decafs, like the decaf espresso, decaf Americano, and it's like those are supposed to be the strongest coffees, and yet you're getting decaf. Unless
People get decaf espressos.
People get decaf double espresso. I've had that.
No
I've
way.
had that in my first barista.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's a heart condition thing, but
But no. But
it doesn't make
I don't know.
sense.
I guess espresso can taste nice in it, but like
not the decaf beans.
decaf ones.
The decaf beans do not.
It's not the same.
Every barista job I've had, the decaf beans have been awful. I mean, in terms of a complex drink, the worst one was probably like there was definitely decaf, and there was like decaf vanilla soya mocha or something,
Just like
and
everything.
it's just I'm like ugh. And some people, these are their regular orders, so I think, are you okay?
Like,
This is surely not good for you, but you're paying, so can I do? I'm just providing a service, right? So I'm just here. But the way we do our hot chocolate, this is like very mundane, but I'm just going to say it. The way we do our hot chocolates at work, it comes out of a machine. So when people come and they ask for a mocha, we got to make it by hand, right? Like a soya mocha or a non-dairy one. You got to, but the powder's got milk powder in it, and then I'm standing there trying to explain to them, it's not going to be fully soya. It's still got milk powder. And they're like, no, it's fine. Just like for the texture, and So sometimes I find myself getting annoyed at those small things, and then I check in with myself, and
It's
I'm
like,
like, this is
who
just
gives a fuck,
who
mate?
cares?
Literally,
this
who
is
cares?
just a job. It's fine. I'm paying my dues, and from all of that has come this good opportunity, which you got to pay your dues. I think.
Yeah, of course. Give me 1 second. I actually need to pee so bad.
Go and pee.
I'll be back in
Too
like
much
2 seconds.
canned water.
In it.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Whoa. Feet.
Footsies. It's a narrow table, but it's cute. I like it.
What? Do you know what I mean? Work in progress. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, darling?
My mum hates it when I say that because she thinks I'm saying Jermaine, which is one of my neighbours. Like, Jermaine.
Shut your mum. But I mean, this was my old desk, and
Yes, it was.
I made do in it, but because I had to get rid of so many parts, so like our feet can go in from both sides.
Yeah.
It's made it bare and
It's fine.
stable.
I like to sit at an angle sometimes,
Yeah, but
and like a child sometimes.
Anyway, back.
Yeah.
Quick quiz. That was nice.
Yeah.
I actually really needed it. I was holding it for a minute.
Shit, you're probably struggling, no?
I'm good now, though.
That's good relief. See,
Actually,
it's the simple things. You see what I mean? To be able to actually have a toilet to go to. I mean, you're a guy, you can pee anywhere. Like, that's a luxury.
That is a luxury.
You know,
Don't
it's
really
a great luxury to have. Like, you should really
just whip it out and
What?
whiz it, whip it out and whiz.
whip out and whiz, whip and whiz. Hey, that sounds
Whip
like,
and whiz.
that's a good name for a
like
company of some
for like
kind.
ice cream.
I don't think I would go anywhere near that ice cream,
Whip and whiz.
especially with the lactose problems.
Oh yeah.
Don't you think? Sorry to
No,
maybe you're about to say
keep
something.
going. No,
Speaking of lactose, do you have this belief that if you go without it for so long, when you go back, that's when the problems start with lactose? Because I never used to have a problem with it.
I don't know. I think I remember listening to a podcast and they were talking about it, and it's I think people become more lactose intolerant as they age, basically. Right. I can't remember how true that is, but you know what I mean. I think that's what it was. Because a lot of people are lactose intolerant. It really depends where you come from.
Made for us as well, like, in a way.
Well,
still love my halloumi and feta cheese. Like,
well, made for us, that's all debatable. What's made for us? Nothing's made for us.
well, I mean, like,
You know what I mean? Meat isn't made for us. Vegetables aren't made for us.
shout out the vegans.
Yeah.
Plants,
It's just what we make do, innit?
It's
What we make do from nature.
I mean, if it doesn't affect your body, I think it's absolutely fine. I mean, yeah.
Fucking love lactose.
I mean,
I shoot lactose in the morning.
I mean,
I just like fill up a needle with yogurt and just straight in the veins.
Fermented, I hope.
Yeah. It's real live cultured yogurt.
I really envision that. But I mean, cheese is one of those things that I'll always love, but there are certain cheeses I have to stay away from if I have something to do the next day.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, still light cheeses work fine for me. Mozzarella, feta, and halloumi. Like,
But well, in particularly goat's cheese.
goat's cheese is really good for you.
Well, goat's cheese doesn't have lactose.
It tastes good.
Yeah. So goat cheese don't have lactose, or very, very low levels.
Yeah, man.
So people that are actually lactose intolerant, they can have goat's cheese.
Yeah, crumble it on a salad. It's absolutely delicious.
Fucking love goat's cheese.
Yeah. A nice
'cause
maybe
sometimes
like,
feta, sometimes it's its own thing.
Yeah. Balsamic dressing. Getting hungry.
Yeah, man, we'll have some food after. But before that, we'll switch up the themes.
Switch it up.
Talk to you just about Palestine, because actually, I don't.
I'm not very clued up, like what's happening right now, because I mean, as we were saying before, with all the news being negative and things like that, and I used to be really, especially with the Kurdish cause, really into it to the point where I felt bad, and it just makes you feel shit. So I've been staying away from a lot of Middle Eastern news, but I mean, with the history and stuff, it's really complicated too. I mean, I think a lot of the injustices are still ongoing. Like, not much has come from the movement of Free Palestine and things like that. But it's probably because, you know, of the state of Israel and how tough it is to kind of not overthrow those systems, but
balance it out.
Yeah, to get through, especially when something is so deep rooted in history, like similarly to the Kurdish cause. So it's deep rooted, and it's, you know, oppression. It's oppression. Oppression is very hard to, you know, overcome. I think, especially in that part of the world. You know.
Yeah, right now.
It's not a lot of access.
Do you ever like try and I guess try and like step away from it and just like almost just, I guess that's what you're doing right now, just looking at it from a distance and
just look at the facts, like.
Yeah, and also it's hard, isn't it? Because with stuff like that that have literally been going on for like how long? Like,
I think it's been since, I want to say 1970s. Someone might correct me on that, but it's not even been that long.
Yeah.
If we think about, you know, all the other times in history, how long it's taken to, you know, get an independent state or things like that, you know, overthrow the oppressors. It's not been that long. I think 1970s is probably when the first revolution started in terms of, you know, slowly they were taking Palestinian land, making it their own.
Yeah.
I think that's when it kind of started.
it was given to them, right?
Given to them.
as in like Well, because this is actually because I don't know much in terms of like Jewish people just being repopulated, like basically just sent in Israel.
Yeah.
To like
settling back into
just to settling back, because that's what there is in the Bible, or whatever, or in the. So it's like you say it's 1970, but it's actually like 2,000 years of just like old ideas in it. Just like these ideas are just old, of like who owns land and who. Yeah,
but that comes from a religious place, you're saying. So that's another thing, because with me, I have a very strong view of that, which, you know, is that a lot of people may or may not, okay, but usually they'll use religion as an excuse for power. And I think that's probably what's happened. I think in this case is just because it's happened a lot by force. And surely if you are religious and you want to follow a moral code of some sort, then it shouldn't be to the state of you're hurting
others
and aggressively with, you know, pushing out people. Like, it shouldn't be with all these aggressive means, right? That's my view on it. But that's also from what I see just on social media as well, like a lot of videos. And I mean, I try and follow a lot of non-biased, you know, pages, which can give me, you know, the right amount of news that is from a good source. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard because you don't really know what to trust as well. But that's you know,
that's hard as well.
I don't want to have like a bad view of other people too, because nothing is black and white, right? Sometimes I really want to believe that all people are good, so it must come from. But when you see it's like in an aggressive way, it's hard. Like, it's so conflicting. Hence why I had to step away, because my brain does a little bit of a madness sometimes in terms of overwhelming information.
Yeah.
You know, but
it's just like
Israel and Palestine is a tricky one to kind of.
It's tricky, and the thing is, it's we've sort of reached the stage in Western worlds where it's like violence is so far. Well, it's not common. I think it's actually the opposite. As in Western world, violence is so far removed from reality. The only real violence that we see is, you know, films and stuff like.
Oh yeah, in the West, yeah, for sure.
In the West, yeah, there's just not. Like, violence is not part of our life anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why it's such a big thing when there's like a stabbing or like
like one person dies and everyone knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, back in the day, people used to die left, right, and center, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People just used to. So it's like.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to a level where it's like violence has stopped in many places, but it's easy to forget that, like, that's how people just used to deal with problems.
Yeah.
They just used to just enter wars and just fight, and that's how humanity has been forever, or for as long as we know it. And do you know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things where it's
less barbaric with time.
Way less barbaric.
I recently discovered someone you probably know, Vlad the Impaler. Well, that's
Vlad the Impaler.
That's not his actual.
That's
name,
like his
the Romanian. I don't think it was Romania at the time. I forget the name, but
Ottoman Empire maybe.
Well, no, it was what Romania used to be, or like one part of it starts with a T. Doesn't really matter, but I went down a deep rabbit hole of Vlad the Impaler, and I was looking at, you know, the means of violence there, and it was just absolutely barbaric, you know, impaling, hence the name that he was given, but impaling people on sticks and like whole communities, you know, and a lot of people would have to sacrifice for this war, that whatever they were trying to fight, and men, women and children. I mean, I feel like you don't get a lot of that these days in terms of like children being involved. Obviously children are there's a lot of fallout, you know, with children suffering as well, like repercussions, but it's not how it used to be. I mean, even in this country, right, burning women at the stake, and you know,
it's mad.
But yeah, it's
funny, and it's recent. The thing is, it's recent. Like, you go back 200 years and it's like
it's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. I read a great book, you know.
Are you starting a money jar, by the way? I noticed that on the right.
No, that's always been. I've paid rent with that once.
Really?
In my dark days.
It's looking a bit low.
Yeah, honestly, one time I was, my overdraft was maxed out and I had to pay rent, and I was like, right, I actually just need to gather all my resources. And I remember,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Did I sell anything? But I definitely went into the money jar and there was like enough to like
Nice.
reach.
See, that's what it's for, rainy day, mate.
Anyway, so this book is hefty.
Wow, that is pretty thick.
That is hefty.
It's thick with a Q.
Yeah. But it's this guy called Steven Pinker, and the book's called The Better Angels of Our Nature. And it's a history of violence and humanity.
Wow.
Let me just read I'll read the
finished it?
blurb.
Yeah?
Believe it or not, today we may be living in the most peaceful time in our species' history. In this epic exploration of the human condition, Steven Pinker shows that despite what the news tells us, violence of all kinds has been decreasing, and why it has happened. So basically, this book, it's fascinating. It talks about like a combination of, like why violence is decreasing around the world, but also like crazy examples of how normalized violence was back in the day.
Right.
Not just obviously humans, but to animals and stuff as well. People just used to just like kill cats and dogs. Because that was just normal, innit? Like it wasn't, it just wasn't looked.
Well, I think there was probably a bit less of some sort of social decorum as well. Like, and I think, obvious statement, but so many things have changed these days, like sensitivities and more democracies and things like that, and media as well, like highlighting everything. So you have to, they didn't have to worry about that kind of thing back then, So
well, they did, but it was different. Standards were different, innit?
Well, I mean, with the sensitivities, these days, okay, not even in terms of violence, like with anything these days, feel like you can't even say much.
You can't say much.
So you can't, not that you should say everything and anything, but it's just, that was like, let's say 7 years ago. Jokes on, like insensitive jokes, for example, like being offensive, right? It's just, I don't know what my point was, but just like in terms of history,
I think I know what you're saying.
People cared a bit less about upsetting people, and not to say wars don't still happen, but now it's like, okay, you have the UN now, for example, or what was it, the Geneva Convention, and to condemn these kinds of things. I think back then there wasn't a lot of condemning. Yeah,
but the thing is, yes, those things you're saying is true, but also I've said this so many times this podcast, but if you take a step back again, it's like, why is that? It's like, and then humans sometimes, it's, I think it's like a few simple things that drive us, just like as just as humanity and civilization. But one of them is just like, what's convenient, and that's what we tend to do. What's like a good balance between like.
Well, you think that's like rooted in like every human.
Yeah, like what's the convenient thing to do? I think violence became inconvenient.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because
of like all the fallout from it, financial.
Yeah, exactly. All the fallout, like people dying, sadness, suffering. Also, just like impacts on economies. Very important. Like if you kill half of your working class men, who's gonna do the jobs?
Who's gonna do the labor?
Who's gonna do the so it's like, I think to an extent almost like violence has become inconvenient, and also adding to that, like you said, there's like a snowball effect, like a domino effect, where it becomes looked down upon, and then the book is fascinating though.
The book actually seems pretty interesting. I may have to borrow that from you if you're done.
Yeah. You can. It's one of those books that it's big, but you can skim through a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like a lot of different examples of different things, so you don't have to read it all. But it's quite a positive outlook on life.
Yeah.
It gives you a good
good outlook, maybe.
good
I
outlook,
think, yeah.
bit of an overview of like,
Yeah.
okay, like we are potentially living in, you know, maybe
Or a better society.
yeah,
than it
in
was
like yeah,
before.
one of the best societies that's ever been.
Oh yeah.
It could definitely be argued that's not the case, you know.
Well,
and
that
then
ties back to gratitude as well. Again, right? Being grateful for this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have survived back then. I'd be the first one to go probably.
Yeah, you say that though, but you're tough.
I'd probably be married with about 5 kids right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I should be anyway
Yeah,
right now.
and
with
I'll
my
probably
culture.
be married with 5 kids as well.
Yeah.
But I'll be.
You wouldn't have time to make your pickled. I mean, maybe you would have actually more.
No, you'd be
time.
making pickle stuff.
I'd be making. The
and I'll be
pickled-
out. I don't know if I can.
Constant pickled cabbage leaves, man. Cabbage is so great though.
Cabbage actually bless, mate.
Yeah.
I love me some cabbage.
Cabbage.
Cabbage. Oh yes. Well, do you know I've been watching? That's been rather entertaining.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Bear Grylls, The Island.
Oh, interesting.
Mate,
Speaking about Bear
me,
Grylls,
me
someone,
and
yeah.
Katie watched the first episode, and I was like, I have to watch this.
He's insane.
Mate, Bear Grylls is I get it in it. He is obviously he's definitely like a survivalist, and he knows his shit, but he also knows how to play the TV presenter role.
Oh, yeah.
He's the intensity and the.
Yeah.
And today,
Very dramatic.
we are on the island where everything tries to kill you
Yeah.
or eat you. There's enough food to survive for 2 weeks. Can they make it, or will they fall apart?
That's great.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. if
That
you've
wasn't a Bear
heard-
Grylls accent, but you know what I'm saying.
No, definitely.
But
that's
anyway,
definitely his
so
persona.
this show, yeah, the season I watched in particular, I don't know, the other seasons are different, but they put 2 groups of people on this island, and they just have to survive, and they, you know, if they want, they can mingle if they find each other. But anyway,
Right. Mingle. Interesting.
you know what I mean? So they dropped off to 2 groups, and the thing is, one group is like the poor group, and the other group is like the rich group.
Okay.
One group is made out of people that make, on average, like 100k and above, and the other group is just like working class people, you know,
Right.
making like 25, 35k.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's
difference.
just yeah, different. It's just like TV bullshit in it,
Right,
but.
right.
Oh mate, there were like the working class people and the middle class people were such stereotypes of those groups.
Of those classes.
Oh my days, it was hilarious. Like for example, like from the working class people, like there was one guy, he was like a proper like Millwall fan, like geezers, like I shag birds, mate.
Birds.
Like if I want here, I'll probably be shagging birds back in Millwall. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
That's ridiculous. That's
Ridiculous.
welcome to British culture.
And then on like the posh side, it's like, oh yes, I'm an art dealer,
Oh,
and
yes.
actually I only work 3 times a week.
And I wear constant polos.
Yes, and well, I thought this was
What's
gonna be
that show
quite
called,
tropical.
by the
And
What's that? Because Bear Grylls has so many shows.
it's called The Island.
The Island.
Yeah.
Recommend?
Yes, you know,
Sounds pretty funny.
it's so shit, but it's so good because
I
like
actually-
it's
yeah.
so funny because it's one of them survival shows where it's like it's not really, it's survival, but you know what? Like 1 second they're catching an iguana, the next second the iguana is like skinned and all prepared, and it's like, hold on a minute, I
Jesus.
don't really know. You didn't do that. You don't know how
So,
to
I mean,
skin
like,
an iguana.
I don't know if you've heard about some of Bear Grylls' stuff is scripted and, you know, not 100% genuine.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just
which is a
TV.
shame. It's a shame, but some of his stuff's pretty cool. You know, he's got some good tips, I think.
Yeah.
The shows that he had where he would give you advice.
Yeah.
It would be just him and the
Oh,
cameraman.
okay, go on. Give me.
Well, I don't remember. I'm talking like 5 years ago,
Nah,
but
of
I remember
course,
it was
yeah.
just him and his cameraman. Maybe it was like a whole
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
team.
know. It was a whole team behind. Oh, really? Whole production team.
Well, it depends, innit?
Or
It
just
did-
him and the one camera guy. I used to really be into it. Like, yes, like if I ever get lost in a jungle, but I'd never.
You'd know everything. Yeah, actually.
You know.
But
Obviously, I don't know.
You don't know, but it's just like one of those things where you receive this information, but if you don't do anything with it, it just doesn't stay with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that goes with for everything. So it's like whatever. I mean, that's one of the other reasons about like me quitting social media, and that is because like I would watch so many great things on YouTube and stuff and whatever. And I'm trying to minimize YouTube, but that's a bit more difficult.
Yeah, you
But
love your YouTube.
I love my YouTube,
Yeah.
but like on I found myself watching amazing shit on YouTube. You know what I mean? People building houses and
Oh yeah, I love that.
or
DIY
just
stuff,
like
man.
not just that, just anything. People do a lot. There's a lot of impressive people out there in the world that
And
are
there's
just
a lot of interesting stuff too.
yeah. And it's like I watch or something just really interesting information. But because I watch so much of it, it sort of loses its value because it gets saturated by all these other things I watch, and I end up just not remembering anything.
Yeah.
So,
Overwhelming.
yeah, I
It
guess
gets
so.
overwhelming because there's so much. Like you say, it's just an oversaturation of information, and I don't know if our minds can handle so much of it in a short amount of time. Because I'll find that as well, like with YouTube, but I'm not on YouTube as much, except for the lo-fi.
Lo-fi vibes.
And there's one woman I've been really consistent with. Her name is Rachel Metz, and she's just like this DIY boss lady who's like bought her own piece of land in somewhere called Joshua Tree in America, which is like just
I
a
know
desert,
Joshua
you know
Tree
Joshua
in
Tree?
California.
And she's like remaking it up and remodeling it, and like you get to follow a bit of the personal
I
life
love
as well.
that.
But it's mainly just about like the progress.
I love that.
I love that kind of stuff. I love to see the physical outcome.
Do you?
Do I
Raman?
DIY?
No. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Probably to just be more present in the moment, not get lost in my head so much, which I found that I've done a lot, and to paint a lot more, like complete a project. I think like I've had this project that I've wanted to complete for a while on Kurdish female fighters and the portraits, so I really want to focus on that this year, and really just to make headway with this new career path. Like that's one of the main things, and also there's a lot because I didn't have any this time last year. I was just kind of floating through, feeling all floopy, but one of the big ones as well is to be more vulnerable and more open to things and people, not hiding myself away in that cynical bubble that you can create for yourself. So just being more open, mind and heart, which I think is quite difficult to do when you're not used to it for so long. But that's one of my goals. I think I'm doing good.
I think you are.
I think so. I mean,
just
taking stock of it as well, like with the journaling as well, like you can actually track, okay, like, am I working towards the thing? Like, how do I actually feel as well? I want to manage my emotions better and actually understand them. So what's your goals?
What's my goals?
What are your goals? Any goals?
Well, just the social media and the podcast, honestly. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the podcast. Like I'm gonna really try and focus a lot on it. Be a bit more particular about what jobs I take on. I think I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm not completely money motivated, but I am to an extent, of course.
Right. You're kind of like, sometimes you're faced with that, like,
dilemma. It's like you do certain jobs I don't want to do, but I would just say yes because I haven't made the effort to find another job or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some good things coming around the corner, hopefully.
Oh yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
It's good to stay productive as well.
Yeah. But I've had a very chill sort of month and a half.
Yeah.
Over like had COVID and Christmas, and then so I haven't been doing too much. It's been quite nice just working on my own personal projects.
That's nice.
So
reaccessing the love for it again, maybe.
Yeah, just getting my mojo back a bit, I feel like over 2020 lost a bit of my mojo.
Yeah.
But trying to just regain it now.
Yeah. I think it's important that you're trying to regain it, because I think that's hard. Like, because I mean, COVID is still, this pandemic is like, we're just living we're just like living amongst it now. Like, I don't even know if it's a pandemic anymore.
It's just
a new wave
life.
of life.
Like, it's just life.
And for some people, it's hard to get out of the funk and find the mojo. But they, again, self-awareness, like, okay, I've lost my mojo. Let me find my mojo back.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah,
feel less floopy.
Yeah, yeah. And my thing always is my happiness is always connected to progress in it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
yeah, and it's just like whenever, and that's why it's good to journal, because you can see progress.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can, so
See the growth.
I see the growth, yeah. And sometimes it's easy. Everyone in life is like a graph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down, and whatever. And it's quite easy to focus on a small part of the graph where it's like you're just going down scale, or it's just like leveling. But if you
Yeah.
zoom back, sometimes you can see that over time. Okay,
Yeah.
you'll have setbacks, but then you come back up,
Yeah, and sometimes it'll go down again, but like
and then you come back up. You know what I mean? So
that's
it's
the beauty, the weird, messy beauty of life, I mean, I've said this so many times, so many points in my life. It's probably cliche as fuck, but how can you appreciate the good without the bad, right? And it's weird, we talk about growth, and I think you're saying like this is like a stagnation, like to flatline, and that's the fear. Well, for me anyway, and I think for you as well, to just stay not really going anywhere, just kind of
floating,
floating. And someone was telling me a quote related to that, where it's like, if you're not living, you're dying,
If you're not living, you're dying.
If you're not, and I think that's really interesting, because I mean, look at 2020, it did go by kind of fast. I feel like 2021, fuck, forget, I've lost.
It's actually crazy. 2021 did not exist, mate.
I don't think that
2021 actually didn't happen.
I just completely skipped 2021.
2021, yeah, for me was, I think, one of the fastest years of my life. And 2020 also, like, I'm turning 27 this year, yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy. And in my head, I feel like I'm turning 25.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone, to an extent, when I've spoken to people, they have the same feeling where 2 years have sort of gone by, but because it hasn't been normal, I just feel like the age I am before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I've definitely matured over it and stuff, but yeah, it's just an odd feeling.
It is.
Wow,
It is odd.
27, bruv.
Yeah.
It's not old, yeah, but it's like I'm getting further away from being a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mad.
Adulthood.
Adulthood.
I mean, we were adults when we turned, what is it? They say 18, but I never felt like an adult 18. They say, 21, let's say. But sometimes I don't. I mean, I'm 25. I don't feel like... Maybe.
But we are adults. We live on our own. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe we'll
work.
always feel like that. Even when we're like 30, 40, we're just kind of like, wow, that's crazy. Like I think it's...
Yeah, like, wow, that's crazy. I'm 40.
I'm 40. When did that happen, But I think...
It will definitely be that. Watch.
I think it's a nice idea to still have that inner child in you, though, that whole youthful like feeling about, okay, I don't feel this age. I don't know, like you say, if the pandemic has played a part in that, but I think there's something nice about that. However, that can... I mean, I've let it go to my head sometimes where I'm like, okay, I need to fix up and be responsible and start acting my age, right? I mean, I feel about 80 in my body, but that's because of the back pains from the hospitality job, But you said I'm wise, so here we are.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
It's a funny feeling.
I don't know, growing older. Yeah, I don't know. It.
Do you want to resist that in a way? Or
Nah, not at all. Not at
embracing
all.
it?
I'm embracing it because it's hard, isn't it? Because on one side I'm embracing it because life doesn't. It's not forever.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of beauty in just people getting older, dying, new people getting born. I see a lot of beauty in the life cycle, innit? And I'm aware I'm just part of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's scary because time's running out and I want to do shit with my life.
Well, there's so much that you want to experience before.
Yeah. So it's a two-way street,
Yeah.
It's definitely a two-way street where it's like, I'm not... I don't want to say I'm not scared of dying because...
Yeah.
I also heard it's quite a good quote. I can't remember who it was by, but it was like, or quote or idea, whatever. But it's the fear of dying is what is the absolute motivation for all things in life. Like because you just want to do stuff before you die.
Well, yeah, that can put you in check as well, to be like, okay, I better get cracking and like live life to its fullest, whatever that means for the individual, right? And sometimes the fear of dying, I think, is probably what will probably make you feel like, if you let the fear overtake you, that will probably what will make you feel dead inside anyway, not in a morbid way, but kind of like, again, if you're not living, you're dying, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like you haven't got time, you know.
Oh no, not at all, not at all.
It's just
lots of time, but
it can be a scary concept. I know what you mean. Like sometimes I feel that way about myself with career, but not just career, but also like family. You know, like I don't know about you. I mean, I think you'd want kids, like definitely, like
definitely want kids.
Definitely want little kiddos, like a little litter running around. But I feel the same, because I mean, in this day and age, I think it's a bit, maybe I'm speaking from my culture, but it's a bit more complicated. Like things take a bit longer here, you know. I mean, back home, it's you meet someone, get married and
pop
pregnant in the first year, or within the first year, and that's the pressure, you know, that's the pressure definitely that comes with the culture. But here it's like, you know, first of all, you have to meet someone that you feel a natural connection to, that you even want to have a family with. And then the financial means, and then, you know,
the support.
Yeah, the support, and but regardless, I don't think that will ever detract me from wanting at least 3-4 kids minimum.
Is it?
Yeah. Which is crazy, because I never used to be broody like that, but in the last 4 months I'll see a little kid on the bus and I'm like,
bro, I actually want a kid.
Little baby with good eyebrows.
Kids, beautiful, man. Me and Ibby, we got talking about it in the podcast. Maybe I haven't reached that point yet.
I think, I mean, when you were speaking about it with Ibby, about bringing kids into the world, and a lot of people saying that they are hesitant about that. And I do get that, but at the same time, I was listening to that, and my thought was, okay, but so what? You're not gonna live the life that you want? Because it sounds like it comes from a place of, okay, I do want kids, but I'm not gonna do it because of X, Y, and Z, right? But just do the thing you want to do. You this is, again, like, live that experience. And
it's definitely complicated with kids, though.
I mean, of course, because you're, okay, when you die, you're leaving them kind of behind in this, like, whatever fucked up world. But
again, back to that book.
The world's always been fucked up.
World's always been fucked up.
We've got to keep the
It's just our perspective of it. That's what's different.
And I think as well, like, when you have a family, when you have kids, like, it sounds like it's such a different, immense type of love, you know, and to experience that, I think, overrides everything else for me.
Yeah, and it's, you actually, I think that's the point where everything changes. As soon as kids come into the world, you're just not the same person anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that one event collectively as humans is probably the most significant thing that can happen in our lives.
Yeah.
Because it actually changes the trajectory of your life completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a kid's probably the, you know.
Because that can also, like, true selflessness there as well.
Yeah, I mean, also, you know, like, it's not all good. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, having kids can be really rough and can send people in all types of, you know, depression or like, just, you know, parents run away from their kids, or kids run away from their parents.
Yeah, a lot of dysfunctional families, of course.
Yeah, it's not all
sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, but, like, regardless of that, what was just the only point I was trying to make is that it's just the severity of that happening, you know. It just completely changes everything. But anyway,
kids are beautiful, man. I used to get really annoyed with kids, like, at a weird point in my life about 3-4 years ago. I used to just, like, when they're loud. But I think if I want a lot of kids, I have to prepare for the noise. And I think actually there's something to be said about the noise. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, you know. Like I've grown up not really knowing my extended family at all. And like I would love to have loads of kids, and then my brothers to have loads of kids, and then everyone just interacting.
Yeah,
like
I know.
That sense of like little mini community.
And also like us lot, all of us
Do you know
not
what I
having
mean?
mate.
Like,
oh mate, could you imagine like
know.
all of us like having kids and that, and we all
and
get
they're all
together
friends.
and all just like,
all might hate each other, but
I'm so excited.
Hey.
I'm gonna make my
my kids
that
gonna
needs
have
to happen.
great eyebrows. I'm gonna my kids. I'm gonna
Your
make-
kids, yeah. My kids will have questionable eyebrows.
Your kids will be hairy, man. Well, depending on
Yeah.
the lady, but you know,
Well, I think
questionable. No, your eyebrows are fine. They're a bit sparse, but
Yeah,
they suit your face.
bit sparse.
You make up with it with the facial hair, man,
Yeah.
and the hair
That-
everywhere else.
Yeah. Whoa.
Like your back. I don't know if anyone knows. I don't know. Can I say this
Yeah,
about
no.
your back and your neck?
It's mad.
Yeah.
I was actually with me.
It's good genes though.
Chatting to Callum and Katie downstairs about my back hair earlier, and I was saying like, or like when I'm a granddad, I'm gonna be just like one of them granddads on the beach that just looks like a fluff ball.
Yeah.
That's me.
Sunbathing. You
But
know.
like actually none of the skin's reaching my skin.
Yeah.
It just like gets stuck in the hair.
It's just dark.
Yeah, it just
You
gets
know.
absorbed by the hair.
Yeah.
Hilarious, man.
Do you remember? Because I was like looking through old photos the other day, just like trying to delete some things, and your hair journey has taken quite the progression route. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's had quite the journey. Like, I found this video of when I straightened your hair in uni, and it was looking sleeky soft, but it was long. Very long.
Do you have, mate, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'll send you all the photos of your hair that I have.
Mate, yeah, the
There's
hair
a
used
lot.
to be mad. My hair's so fucked now.
It's got so fucked.
Yeah, it's
Why
so
is it fucked?
fucked. It was just like I think I got a bit too excited because I thought I just had my dad's genes in terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
hair, because his head is mental, mate.
It looks like he's got thick hair.
Bro, his head's like a microphone. Like you actually can't see the scalp. Like
Wow,
it's so
that's goals,
thick.
though.
And he's
I hate
like
to see my scalp, man.
he's like like mid-50s, and like he is.
Good health.
Yeah. But like my hair, well, I think it's a combination of me like having long hair and just fucking it, like really brushing it like really aggressively, and just like tying it in a bun, super,
Tying it in a bun.
just sport and stuff. And then I think that just damaged it a lot. And also just think, just like male pattern baldness, it's just
Right,
like it's just so common.
Yeah.
Like men just lose their hair early, innit? And some, and like I've known people that have gone bald like before 20.
Oh yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
definitely,
Like literally, I remember a kid at school who'd be like, when by the time he was 18, he was like, fucked.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. And I thought I would get away with it, but I haven't.
You haven't.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. My the top there is proper. It's proper thin now.
Yeah.
And I just have to style it a bit, and it looks okay. But I've started this like hair treatment thing, innit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've got next to my bed there.
How's that going?
Yeah. I've done it for just under a month. Like you only really start seeing results like 3 months in.
Right. So are they like capsules or is it some kind
well,
of
I can.
drops or-
Yeah, I can take capsules, but this one's just like a little like oil serum.
Nice.
You just put in your head every
Nice.
morning, every night. But it's finasteride and minoxidil,
Yeah.
and those are the two things that tend to work. And I also have this derma roller thing.
Okay, like the. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a roller, but with
Like,
like,
I've seen the little skincare ones.
yes,
Similar to that, is it?
but it has like little spikes on it. It has
Okay.
like little needles, like tiny ones, and it's basically just meant to like. Apparently, it's meant to be good. Like I can't really
Massage the scalp. I've seen that.
massage the scalp. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie. It does hurt a
Oh,
bit.
it hurts.
Yeah. But like I can't really do it because my hair just gets stuck in the thing. I think it works really well if you have like quite short hair.
Right.
And you just do it.
So it's like taking your hair out.
No, it's not taking your hair out. Well, now it
like,
is.
I mean, like hair would come out.
Yeah, well, hair would just get tangled in it,
innit?
innit?
What you want.
So maybe I need to just like cut my hair shorter for like 3 months and it'll look shit, but then it'll look better. So yeah, I'm taking it, but we'll see. And I'm sort of in a dilemma with it. I'm not gonna lie, where it's like I've always been quite a natural person, as in
Yeah.
like
Just herbals.
I know like people can do whatever they want with their bodies, but I've always found like plastic surgery and Botox and stuff just a bit weird.
Yeah.
And even though I don't have any, I obviously don't have anything against people doing it, but it's like,
It's a strange concept, though.
it's a strange concept, just like, you know.
And it's quite sad sometimes. Like,
Yeah, whereas body dysmorphia and stuff, like people, you know, they just don't like how they look, so they feel like they have to add
Yeah.
stuff to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always, you know, sometimes it can generally look good and it can work, but there's definitely a beauty in just like accepting you,
yeah, and accepting what your ancestors gave you.
what your ancestors gave you, and just like your imperfections and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely fighting a little battle with it, where it's
Yeah.
like
Should I bother, kind of thing.
should I bother? Should I just shave my head and not care? Because I could easily just shave my head.
You've
and
shaved your head as well before.
I
You had that
have.
mohawk situation,
I
which
had the
looked
mohawk,
awesome.
so I got a bit big on it. But yeah, I've had the
looked
mohawk, and then I had it shaved, and I actually
Then
quite
you
liked
bleached
it.
it.
Yeah.
You had a little David Beckham thing going on.
Yeah, Eminem in that.
Like 2000 David Beckham. I'm talking about 2001.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Eminem, yeah. Oh, Eminem.
So
Eminem recently getting into feels. Anyway.
is it? Toys
Yeah, but
like
with the hair-
soldiers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
that
a good one.
Song for the moment as well. I'm listening
yeah.
to. Talking about his broken home.
Yeah. Yeah, mate. Eminem,
Sing
bless
for the
him,
moment.
bruv. He is fucked.
Yeah.
Well, he had a
He
fucked up
was.
childhood.
Yeah.
He's-
Don't we all? Well, not all of us, but in some ways. Anyway, back to the hair journey. Yeah, I mean, plastic surgery and the whole. I mean, what's the procedure for the hair?
Well, yeah, hair transplant, innit?
Yeah.
But and I have thought about that because
Apparently, it's painful.
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, it's like, you know, it's like
Hey, you
needles
could go
and
Kurdistan and do it and get it done well cheap.
I know,
Might not be good, but
Well, people go in Turkey and that as well.
Mm.
They love it out there.
yeah, like with the lipo and the
Yeah, loads of stuff.
Gastric
Well,
burns kind of stuff.
the best one, I've looked into it, as in like YouTube videos, never looked at how much it costs and stuff. But like what they do is because your hair, like apart from up here, sort of stays pretty thick around the sides, and that's why you see loads of old guys. They just don't have
it's
anything.
right on the top. Yeah.
So what you can do is actually you can take hair follicles from around, mostly from the back, and then they just put them on the top.
Wow.
Apparently that works really well. Jimmy Carr done it.
Yeah, Jimmy Carr. I've seen his hair plugs. Yeah.
He done it. But they actually just like put the hair follicles in, so it just naturally just grows there now.
I think in that sense, there's nothing, because it's not like maybe this has not naturally happened to you. Like you've done a lot of stress to your hair, and there is a way out of that.
There's a way out of it.
I think
Yeah.
when it comes to things like nose jobs or lip fillers or things like that, like, I mean, I'm guilty of feeling insecure about that kind of stuff too, but that's when it's like, this is naturally just my face.
Yeah, of course,
Right.
yeah.
With yours, it's more, you know, something that you want to reverse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then also it's the same with plastic surgery, because you know people try and reverse age. They just want to look how they look when they were younger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's like a permanent, like, yeah, nose jobs.
And the thing is, it's like, it's just it's sad that it's not sad that like individuals do it. I'm not saying like that. All I'm saying sad is that like
They feel like they
feel like they have to, innit? Like beauty standards is quite
it's even more pressure now, I think, to fit into those standards now. With, again, we come back to social media every time with things, which is the scariest part of it.
all the negative things.
All the negative things, you know, and but again, I think it's about having a strong mind. Like, I know it's easy to say, but like if you have a strong mind and think, okay, I don't need these things, you know, like I'm confident and secure in who I am and how I look and how I feel. I don't need these kind of I don't need to fit in, right? In terms of the whatever, it's probably, you know, I don't have to look hench for the gym, or I don't know. So I think if you are a bit more secure in your mind, it's not as easy to fall into those traps.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think as well, it's not just social media too. I mean, you might get pressure from, say, you know, a family member, or growing up being bullied for a certain thing.
Oh yeah, big time,
That can
big
really
time.
have some kind of impact on a person.
Deep rooted stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like people
definitely.
sometimes, you know, sometimes people they you know, quite often you don't even know why you're feeling like that. You don't even know why those feelings are even there, and it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, just a product of your surroundings where just
Definitely.
bad stuff's happened to you, and you've certain insults.
Or someone tells you so much, you know, like, oh, like you would look so good if so and so.
Yeah, or
and
like
then you start to question it because
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, you're a bloody
oh,
good
you lost
person.
weight, or you gained weight,
Yeah,
or like.
yeah.
But the thing is, it's at the same time, yeah. At the same time, this is the two-sided thing where it's like, okay, it's not nice to hear, oh, you lose weight or you gained weight or whatever and stuff, but there's a balance there where if it's a close mate, and for example you see that they're like losing a lot of weight and they don't look
Rapidly.
healthy, or they're gaining a lot of weight and they don't look healthy, it's like, do you just pretend it's normal and you pretend it's like you don't want to be like, hey, you're like,
You don't want to overstep. And
yeah, do you know what I mean? So because I think as a friend, you know, there's a certain duty of honesty and trust
and care.
where it's
Because you
like,
do care,
you know, whenever you see someone falling off, you know, or just stop being healthy and stuff, you know, you have to be like, okay, yo, like,
Yeah, because that comes from a place of concern, you know, like, because you actually care. You
Yeah.
wanna know what's up. Is everything
yeah, you
okay?
don't,
And
yeah, you definitely don't want to
overstep. Yeah.
that, like, because it, you know, it can be seen as concern, but it can also be seen as an insult.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
it's like you know, quite often, because a lot of people, I feel,
Well, they take things a bit to heart.
well, but no, yes, but like the reason they do it is because they're used to, you know, if someone's overweight, if someone mentions their weight, it's probably because, you know, it's like an insulting thing,
Right.
or, you know, like growing up and stuff. And if the weight's being mentioned, then it could be an insult, bullying, whatever. But you know, in when you're older and you have good friends and you know how to maneuver that space,
Exactly. You know how to approach that conversation.
yeah, approach it. Yeah, and people can be really defensive because that's what they're used to, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But also, some people can get defensive because they know that it's, you know, there is something going on, but they're still in that stage of like, I can't accept it right now, and sometimes to hear what, like, they're not ready for the conversation.
yeah, it's
you
tough.
know?
Yeah,
But I think, like you said, like if it's a close friend, like to ignore it would be worse, you know,
and obviously that's obviously not to specify this about weight. It's not. It's just about.
it's not exclusive to weight.
It's no. It's
yeah.
just everything in it. Anything that goes into like.
Even just like the look on your
Well-being.
face, like being, like, oh, you used to be a really happy person, you're not so much anymore, like that kind of thing, like you're not as smart, like little things like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
But again, it's like it's got to be approached properly, because if you say that, if you just say, "Oh, like, I used to be really happy," like, what happened? Like that's
can
like,
you imagine?
you know what I mean? That's not a nice thing to hear.
Yeah.
So that's when it's like, okay, like, you haven't been
yourself.
You haven't been yourself lately.
Yeah.
Like
You
don't-
seem like you're in a bit of a
you
funk.
seem down. Like, what's
Yeah.
been happening?
Yeah.
Like, like. What on, bro? Why are you not happy for?
like,
Like,
what's
crack a
going
smile
on, man?
real
Chat
quick,
to me,
please.
man. I'm here for you,
Like,
man.
hey, why ruin the vibe for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why ruining the vibe? I hate
No, of course, no. But you know what I mean, I joke
mean,
about it, but like, it's serious.
It's
like,
a serious thing.
You have to.
I think, you know, I mean, I've been in the situation where I've actively asked a close friend, and I've been like, you know, this is a thought I've had in my mind. Do you agree? Like, in terms of not the physical, but in terms of how I seem, how I'm coming across, like that change. Like, do you agree that it's stuff has changed? And they'd be like, to be honest, yes. You know, but didn't want to say anything because, I mean, don't want to make you think about it more, or maybe they, you know. So I think sometimes waiting for the right moment as well, like, can be good. But when it's something that's so physical and fast, like, that you can see.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to ignore. It's hard to wait. It's hard to, you know, I mean, no one's going to come up to you and be like, do you think I've lost a lot of weight? Like, it's weird. The weight thing is, people associate the losing weight with maybe, or generally like a good thing. But for me, if I was to see a close friend lose weight rapidly, I would probably be just as concerned.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there can be, you can be losing weight for the right reasons and for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And those two are very different. But also, but one thing that I've sort of started doing recently that I found quite helpful is I'd go and ask my friends if I want an honest, a real honest answer.
Yeah, a real honest one. Yeah.
I would say, okay, I'm going to ask you this question, yeah, and I want you to answer it like you're not speaking to me, like you're speaking to someone else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just be 100% honest, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't care about my feelings, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Just, I'm giving you the permission to just give it to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As it is. And I found that really helpful because as soon as you sort of give the all clear.
Yeah. And create that detachment there for like the moment.
For the moment. And just allow people to be honest because that can be really hard. You know, really hard. So, man.
Which I think is a good question to ask, like, yeah, definitely. And that's just you maybe being self-aware about yourself, and you just need like a little double check to be like, am I just thinking a bit nuts?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
know? Or is it just all in my head? And then when it's reaffirmed by like someone that you trust, someone that
that's what good friends are for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Zimmy,
we've been going for time.
What is it? How long's it been? I haven't talked this much in ages.
I actually don't know how long it's been, but it's been long.
Shit.
But maybe we can wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Did you enjoy?
I loved having a little chat here.
Isn't it? Just a little chat.
My mint tea, you know, big up Pucker 3 Mint. I recommend it. This is not a sponsorship. I'm just saying it's really nice, and 3 different types of mint, man. Fresh mint, spearmint, and what's the other one? Peppermint. Yeah.
Peppermint. Anyway.
Tangent about mint.
Yeah, mint. We drink an abundance of mint tea in this house. I had a good time.
That's good.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Definitely not the last time though.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta bring me back.
Yeah.
See how the patination is going.
Just
finishing.
Yeah.
Lanterns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how this will change over time as well.
Exactly, the setup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think
you should add a little something here, like an ornament, man.
Yeah, but it's just a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the table was a bit more sturdy. Do you know what I mean? The table's the first thing that I need to get right.
Yeah.
And
that's where it all
seating thing as well.
Well, these are comfy. Like
that is comfy, but
it takes time.
You
could be your own set designer. That could be a nice little project.
Yeah. But also, I've got to just take it easy.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't want
pressure, like we say.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I'm going to do it in my own time.
Exactly. There's no one to please. There's no one to make a deadline for.
Yeah, exactly. And
But you know what would be really cool? Have a little suggestion, just like in the future, like a little mini fridge for your podcast.
Yeah. I have thought about that, and I actually could potentially have one.
Yeah.
Because my dad offered one to me. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
But yeah.
It's meant to be.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up.
We're
just chatting shit
Bulgaria
now.
versus Kurdistan.
In next war coming up, 2023.
Next war. Oh yeah, I gotta grab that book, by the way.
What?
Gotta grab that book, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I always forget
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's go grab some food.
Right,
Thanks for being on here.
It's alright.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, so fun.